Hi, we have today Sony Joy with us from Mobme team. Mobme has an amazing story and it's one of the very successful stories that you can hear as a student startup. It was also the first student startup of India. So let's hear from Sony directly what he has to say about it. So Sony, why don't you tell something more about Mobme and the good things that you are doing?
Hi, I'm Sony and one of the co-founders of Mobme Wireless Solutions Private Limited. We started off while we were studying electronics and communication engineering in Trivandrum, College of Engineering Trivandrum actually. Pretty much a bunch of board students who wanted to do something different. Didn't want to go for the normal placements and jobs and all that. That's the point when we decided let's try and do something different. So at that juncture, try to work closely with the telecom operator there called BPL. We did a viral marketing activity for BPL by which end of 3 months we sold around 14,000 connections. It was a customized SIM for students, and it was the first time it was a closed user group connection for students. Since then, we wanted to work with telecom operators on a closer level, and we went back to them and told them that we want to do something more serious, something more steady, and all that. So that's the point of time when they asked us to go ahead and register a company because we can't deal with an individual otherwise. That's when we registered a partnership firm called Torque Technology Solutions. We started doing all the content aggregation business and bulk customers activities, all those things. Around 6 months, 10 months later, we had received requests or maybe interest from multiple sources to actually do some kind of angel investment, and we needed funding also because we had to set up an office and all that. At that point, we were only working out of the incubation facility we had in Trivandrum Technopark. So by around August 2006 types, we closed on the investment part. We registered a private limited company called Mobme Wireless Solutions, which is right now like 3 years and 3 months. We set up an office in Cochin. We started working more closely with BPL became Hutch and Hutch became Vodafone, so the relation had continued. We had gone into voice business and OBDs and SMSCs and USSD and all those technical stuff. Since then, we expanded our team and have small offices, maybe home offices in Bombay and Gurgaon and Chennai and all that. Currently, we work with most of the leading telecom operators, including Airtel and Aircel, Vodafone, BSNL, MTNL, and all that. We have presence in more than 10, 12 cities, and with other offices also. We run one of the biggest SMSC networks in India, and that too on open source. We use DGM and Asterisk, which makes sure that we have a competitive cost advantage. And vertical wise, we are into enterprise solutions where we target customers like ads, brands and ad agencies and all that. And we also deal with telecom operators directly for core network solutions. At the same time, we go through the telecom operators to provide the end customers with mobile value-added services also.
Good, but can you tell something more, Sony? Like, why did you first of all hit on this idea of being a student? Like, instead of enjoying the life like a normal student, you guys entered this.
So, mobile was something we could relate with, and especially like 4.5 years back, students were just starting to use mobile to a greater extent. So at that point, that's one thing we could relate with, and we could understand what we need and what our peers need, and we knew that there was a huge opportunity opening up. So everybody was talking about 500 million mobile subscribers in India and all that. At that time, it was very small, maybe less than 100 million or maybe less than 50 million. So we knew the opportunity existed, and we wanted to capitalize. We wanted to capitalize on it, and placements and job offers didn't excite us beyond a point. Like we knew that we would obviously get them, and so that was kind of a less risk thing. I mean, like even if you try and do something and even if it fails, you can go back to a job. That was the attitude at the point when we started. But then when we started, we obviously knew that this is the thing that we want to do, and it was good to be job creators than job seekers. So we had received good amount of appreciation, and then the traction was there. We focused very much on running positive on cash flow very early into the stage. So that ensured that we were in business, and we continue to do so. Yeah.
So tell us something about more about the kinds of challenges you faced Sony in the initial days and how did you overcome that?
Being in college and starting up is not the easiest of things. Obviously, you have to manage the exams and classes and all that. But then even after that, I mean, that was manageable still. It's not rocket science; you can crack it. But then, initial stage, very initial stage, building up a team was not an easy task. Because we had to have a permanent team, and they needed to work all the time. So and then paying for them, maintaining the cost, all those things are the initial challenges that you face. But then you figure out means and ways to overcome them. We had received tremendous amount of support from the incubation facility we had in Trivandrum. Just
so how much time it took you to get to the incubation facility?
We were the first to get incubated. That's the first mark.
From the day you started till the day
there was because we were the first, there was no set process as such to get incubated there. So we also had to work with them to initiate the process and set up systems also. It took us almost like 3-4 months to actually get everything ready. We had to have a business plan in place. We had to register some kind of partnership firm. So all those things had to be done. So it took at least 3-4 months, and after which we got incubated. And then one thing led to the other. So we started working with bigger operators and bigger vendors, maybe telecom providers itself. Being young and pitching the idea, not many people take you seriously. So that was a small issue. But then when you continuously go back to them and over a period of time you build a level of trust and credibility, it ceases to be an issue. So they understand that you are serious in the game that you are, and they also understand that we know the business and we know what we do. So it was a great learning experience. We had to obviously put in that extra effort, but then it was well worth it.
So how much time did it took to break even, and how roughly what kind of time it took?
Yeah, so break even, almost in all the companies it's more of an operational break even rather than investment side break even. So after almost a year of operations, we are kind of after getting funding, obviously. After funding and then after another year, we are operationally positive. And
so, but till then, 1 year, what kept you guys going? And it was just the
no, it was just enough. I mean, we're constantly growing, and the trend was consistently upwards itself. It's not that we knew that we had to make bigger investments and bigger expenditures to make sure that we'll have bigger revenues in the future. So that's the reason why you spend more. And even though that what kind of cushion you have. Then angel investment, we had received almost $500,000 in a couple of rounds. So we knew what that could mean, and our projections were kind of the same thing. And we wanted to break even in almost a year's time. We were kind of successfully achieved that.
So given a second chance, Sony, if you have to do Mobme or the whole talk thing again, what are few things that you will avoid which you did last time, or how will you be a little different this time?
I don't think it's a avoiding part. I personally, my ambition is to be a serial entrepreneur. No, obviously, I mean, the small mistake, not something major that we have done.
Okay.
But then I'm sure if we run something again, we'll obviously be able to save a lot more time. We know what takes time, and we know how to overcome it, and things that you learn for the first time obviously it helps you. Second time you do something else. So I believe next one would be interesting. As this.
So is there something cooking up?
Not immediately. Obviously for the next 2-3 years at least, all the co-founders will need to put in a lot of effort and a lot of time on the person company.
So what's the current roadmap for Mobme and the team?
We have some core areas of focus which we want to capitalize on. We have a set foundation, we have team, we have technical infrastructure. So we want to capitalize on that and come out with more products and more services and increase the revenue pie from the existing clients as well as increase more clients. That's the immediate plan. But then after that, we would like to explore outside of India markets also, because I believe that we have a cost advantage. And being a telecom related company, India is one of the forerunners on this, probably the second biggest market in the world. So there will be a lot of learnings and a lot of insights that we have which can be taken abroad, maybe in European markets or maybe US or something. and with the cost advantage, I'm sure it will have some kind of impact. So that is something I want to explore. But other than that, a long-term target would be probably public issue or something, maybe 3 years down the line or something.
So what would you suggest to the new upcoming entrepreneurs? What kind of things they should be cautious about, and how they should be plunging into the entrepreneurial journey?
We, as a company, we mentor a lot of other small startups and all that. We are in touch with a lot of entrepreneurs. Whenever we get time and whenever they need it, we try and mentor them, or maybe help them with whatever stuff that we know. Not that we know everything, but then whatever small help that we can do, it's obviously a big help for a lot of them. So a message as such, I believe that a lot of people who have that creativity and who have the guts to actually take the plunge should definitely take it. And having done it from a student level, I personally feel that it's less riskier to start early rather than to actually wait a long time, because you have lesser commitments, you have more time,
More
just
energy.
obviously you don't have that kind of experience which others in the industry would have, but then if you're smart enough, you can learn that and catch up with them, or maybe even overtake them. So
Is there any specific things you would like them to be aware of, or is there any good time to plunge? Because many people keep asking what is a good time to plunge. And
as early as possible would be my advice, but then look for the right opportunity. You just don't plunge for the sake of doing something or starting up. Look for the right opportunity. Look at the strengths of your team internally. I believe in the team. Team is a core thing that can actually work. So your business plan will change. And
many times, like, we come across many young entrepreneurs who just have a good idea, may not be truly validated kind of thing. So what do you
idea, I completely agree with the normal, maybe in most of the startup circles they keep saying this idea as such is worthless, or maybe it doesn't have any value as such. It's only when you implement it and when you start making money out of it that it actually attains value.
Right, because many times we keep hearing about I have $1 billion idea, but
nothing is a $1 billion idea unless until you actually make it $1 billion.
Right, so you have to work towards implementing it in the right
so implement is
fashion.
extremely critical. Ideas anybody can implement.
Right.
It's not hard to copy and all that.
So shall I say that the message that you would like to convey is right way of implementing and things will fall in place automatically? You should not be worried too lot.
Right team would be a bigger suggestion actually. Complementary skills. Somebody has to be good at developing things, or somebody else has to be good at marketing. Somebody else good at finance, or maybe some combination of this. So it's always better to have a great team right from the start rather than to even start individually. I personally prefer a team to actually start. So you make sure that a lot of things that a person individually might oversee, or maybe miss out on miss out from the whole thing. It becomes more revealing when you have a team and there are multiple angles to the same thing. So a great team can obviously be the biggest pillar for a great startup.
What kind of importance that the company status has? Like, many people, like we being a finance team, ask us whether we will get a VC funding on a proprietorship or a partnership firm. So do you really think that incorporating the right set of company is crucial as well?
Actually, yes, definitely to a great extent. Right now there's something called limited liability partnership, LLP, which can be used considerably easier to actually register that, as well as maintain it, handle the equity structure. For a startup, an LLP might be necessary. But actually would be sufficient. Going forward, when you actually crack the actual business model and when you see bigger revenues, probably you will then need to look at converting that into a private limited company or something. But obviously for VCs and those kind of people, maybe even angel investors, to fund into a company, they obviously would look at a proper structure and things like that. So
and a private limited company.
Partnership alone wouldn't serve the purpose. At least an LLP or maybe a private limited company, you will need it at some point of time. It's completely okay. So it's like completely okay with starting out with a partnership firm, but then going forward you will need to transition into something bigger.
How about so the time frame that you suggest? Like, many people do plan for 6 months and then they take a plunge. Would you advise any time frame you should at least plan for?
It depends on the sector that you are in and the idea that you're working on. Certain things, unless and until you do it immediately enough, there won't be you won't be able to capitalize on the opportunity. So those kind of things at that time is something which is very dependent and subjective. So obviously I can't comment on that.
So any final message, Sony, from your end?
All the best to all the people actually who start up, but then be serious. It's not a game, or maybe just for the sake of it. Don't do it. It's a lot of hard work and a lot of effort. And
a lot of sacrifices as well.
Yeah, a lot of sacrifices, which obviously will over a period of time make you feel that you're lucky also.
Right.
But then once you take the plunge, it's worth it.
It's a different experience altogether.
Yes.
Thanks, Sony, and we at eLagaan wish the entire team at Mobme all the success.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.